Mum had a studio always wherever we lived. We moved here when I was about 12. Mum wanted to bring us to the countryside, and of course her inspiration increased when she came here. It's just so beautiful. I'm painting calla lilies at the moment. So I'm doing lots of scribbly sketches on tracing paper, and I blew them up. This is the design for the background. And this is my composition, getting the composition together for the calla lilies. So considering my final piece is so detailed, it's quite funny that my sketches are so rough, and I move them around on the paper to make sure that the composition is right, because I can't afford to make a mistake, because I put so much into the detail. So I don't know whether it's nature or nurture, whether we've been watching Mum paint all the time or whether it comes naturally, because the flow in my line, I think, is very similar to the flow in Pauline's line. Mum would be very spontaneous with her work. Everything is drawn and it's not changed. Then there's Holly, and there's huge amount of life in Holly's work, but more painterly, I would say, than Pauline or I. She does a lot with the paintbrush, whereas Mum does a lot with her line. So yeah, the whole family paint. That's my mom when she was young.
Oh, that's such
Incredible photographs.
Photo.
Well, I grew up in an artistic family anyway, because my grandmother, she even though she didn't call herself an artist, she made things from rubbish dumps. She used to glue them together and collage them and make these sort of sculptures, basically, that you could hang on the wall. My grandmother encouraged my mother to paint from the age of 2 on. As soon as she could hold a brush, my mother was painting, and she got little wooden boards from the sawmill, and my mother would paint, and she even got her oil paints, and she would paint on those when she was about 5, I suppose. And so my mother's been painting and encouraged to paint ever since she was a baby, and then I just grew up with that, so it's like second nature to me.
Hello, Teddy. Hello, Teddy. How are you, my darling? How are you? Oh, lovely dog. Come on. Come on in, Teddy. Come on. Come on, Teddy.
He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Lie down. There we are. There's a good fellow. He's a good boy. Ever since I've been a child, as you've seen, probably seen the child pictures, my mother has encouraged me hugely to draw whenever I felt like it. And she used to buy me, and it was unusual in Kenmare in those days, she used to buy me all sorts of crayons and pencils and whatnot, which was really, it was so exciting. And Christmas was always exciting because, you know, we had all these lovely things to paint with and whatnot. Yes, yes. So she was a huge encourager. Yeah. So she's marvellous. Yes.
My grandmother kept everything.
Yes.
For Pauline.
She didn't keep it actually for me, Poppy. She kept it for her, really.
Yeah.
But in a way, she sort of regretted it. She turned funny in the end. And she said, "To think I've saved all my paintings, all your paintings." And, you know, she hated herself for doing it, which was a bit hurtful, but it happened. You never know. When people get old, they change and get notions and strange things happen.
Well, in the end, she was sort of like, she wanted to live with nothing.
I mean, she lived in a glass house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Possessions, she said. Oh, possessions, she used to say.
I'm wondering where all your paintbrushes are, Mum, because there's no paintbrushes on the table.
They're in the cupboard there.
Which one, this one?
Yeah, I think it's that one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing loads and loads of sketches in little books, and I intend to have an exhibition of these little books.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and there's going to be masses of them, because I've got masses of them. And being sort of in my bed a lot, it's exciting to be able to paint and draw. The cat listens while she's almost asleep is all I've said for that one. But they do that. They're sort of totally concentrating on sleep and that. That's just a bird waiting to pounce. I'm so glad we're living where we're living. Absolutely love here. So,
Mum and I go for walks in Licking Wood, and then down the Real beach with the dogs.
yes, it's beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, every day.
And the dogs adore it, of course. And there are trees, if you could hear them, that scrape against each other in the slightest of breeze. And they're like talking trees. They go, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Up in Licking.
are you all right? It sounds like words. Weird. You'd be very frightened if you went there all on your own and knew nothing about these talking trees.
Some of my early memories are of Mommy holding up her paintings to me and asking my advice. It was normal throughout my life. She told me that even when I was a tiny baby in the pram, she would hold paintings up and she felt she could read my expressions. She told me she thought I was the wisest creature she had ever known. Mommy always believed that we shouldn't dwell on the negative. One morning, when she was still in palliative care in Tralee, I was walking the dogs in Licking Wood. Dewy cobwebs formed honeycomb-like shapes on the waxy grasses. Below the rock, the Pewter River and the still lake. I was filled with a sadness. How short life is. I reminded myself that there will be days when this same beauty would fill me with happiness. And there have been days like this of happiness. It's strange how deep grief and happiness can exist side by side. Pauline's spirit is still around us in all she created. Here in Library Place, in Waterford, on many walls around the world, and in all the people she touched with her kind words, her encouragement and her humour. We still feel a happiness emanating from her house, and a beautiful, peaceful feeling fills our valley. These positive feelings in us are a real testament to both my parents. Let's all live life to the fullest that we possibly can, just like Pauline did. Thank you. Oh, she seems so alive there.
I've always finished this, it's hardly called a painting the way it is. It's a girl that lives round the corner here called Anne-Marie, and she's pregnant, and she's surprised. And that's her house up in the corner there, and the road up to her house. And what she is, she's dreaming really of having a child. In a sense, that's the child, but it's covered in grapes and whatnot. She's, those are her hands, and she's sort of in a semi-dream about it, as one is when one is pregnant, I think, quite a lot. Yeah, and I'll be finished that, I should think, in about 2 weeks' time.
Anne-Marie and her sister were here when the day that Mum passed away, and we all had mattresses around Mum's bed, and they came with baby Ruby, and baby Ruby was in among us all, and we were petting Mum and talking about Mum and remembering things together. And yeah, she's really touched that there's a painting with that story about her baby. We all love nature. Mum would have a lot of humans in nature, the feeling of being with nature, which is something actually I'd like to get more into myself. I have done only 2 paintings with humans in them, but I want to do more. And it's funny that I want to do it more now that Mum's passed away. I sort of feel inspired to do more. So yeah. Mm-hmm.